Hey everyone, and welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something pretty profound, a question that I think resonates with a lot of people. Does consciousness really sort of sleep during dementia? It's a powerful image, isn't it? But maybe not quite accurate. Our exploration today comes from a really insightful expert piece titled, "Does Consciousness Sleep During Dementia?" It digs deep into what we currently understand, scientifically and even philosophically about awareness in dementia. And our mission really is to unpack why that sleeping idea, while it feels right sometimes, doesn't fully capture what's going on.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it because this question, honestly, it's still largely unanswered. There isn't a complete empirical or philosophical agreement on it. It's an enigma. And like you said, it's definitely not a simple yes or no, not like typical sleep. Sleep is cyclical. It's reversible. Dementia, well, that's something else entirely.
Right. So if it's not just sleeping, what's happening instead? What does the research point to early on?
Well, one of the first things highlighted is that even in, say, mild cognitive impairment, those early stages, you start seeing a kind of fragmented or reduced awareness. It happens right alongside the memory issues and confusion people notice.
So it's not an all or nothing thing from the start?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then as dementia progresses, particularly with something like Alzheimer's, there's actual significant neuronal death. Brain cells are dying off.
Wow.
And atrophy, the brain tissue shrinks. This directly impacts what we call cortical networks. Think of them as the brain's main communication lines.
Okay.
And these are just absolutely critical for self-awareness, for episodic memory. That's your personal history, your life events, and for making decisions. In severe cases, well, this can lead to unresponsiveness. Someone might still have sleep-wake cycles. They look awake, but their actual awareness could be, minimal.
That's a really important distinction. It's not just fuzziness, it's structural damage affecting specific functions. So how is that fundamentally different from just, falling asleep at night?
That's the key difference, really. The sleep comparison sort of falls apart there. Because with sleep, consciousness is temporarily down, right? But it bounces back.
Yeah.
You wake up.
Yeah, it's recoverable.
Precisely. But dementia involves irreversible structural brain damage. This causes a permanent loss of the neural correlates of awareness.
Okay, what does that mean exactly? Neural correlates.
Basically, those are the specific brain activities and structures that we need to be conscious, to have that sense of I am here. And the expert piece really emphasizes that while, yes, you might see moments of clarity.
Little sparks.
Yeah, little sparks, exactly. But they tend to be fleeting and they diminish over time. That fluctuation itself suggests consciousness isn't just sleeping. It's profoundly disrupted. It's not like flipping a switch. It's more of a gradual, sometimes uneven decline.
And it makes sense when you think about the brain areas involved, right? Like the cortex, the hippocampus.
Yeah.
Crucial for memory and awareness.
Absolutely critical structures. Yet what's also fascinating, and I think really important, is that even with quite widespread damage, consciousness doesn't seem to be entirely, dead in many cases. The research does suggest some level of awareness might persist.
How so? What kind of signs are we talking about?
Well, think about how people, even in late-stage dementia, sometimes respond to things. Maybe it's music they loved, or a familiar touch, or even just the emotional tone of someone's voice. That kind of response indicates there's still something there. A connection, maybe, a spark, like you said.
That is incredibly important for caregivers, for family. It changes the whole dynamic from thinking there's an absence to perhaps an altered presence, but then things get complicated again because sleep itself is often disrupted in dementia, right?
Oh, very much so. That adds another layer of confusion. You see things like sundowning.
Right, where evenings become more difficult.
Yeah, increased confusion, agitation, often linked to disrupted internal body clocks. And just generally very fragmented sleep patterns are common. And these disruptions, well, the piece calls it an illusion of sleeping consciousness.
An illusion.
Yeah. It's not that the consciousness itself is asleep in the way we normally think of it, but these sleep problems make the person seem unresponsive or disoriented, sometimes in cycles that look like sleep. So it mimics that idea.
Which then brings us back to the really big question. How do we even define consciousness?
Exactly. That's a huge philosophical and scientific challenge. Some philosophers argue it's not binary, not just on or off.
Like a spectrum.
Precisely, a spectrum of awareness. Yeah. And dementia, from that perspective, might shift someone along that spectrum rather than just switching them off entirely. But ultimately, that inner subjective experience of someone with dementia, It remains mysterious.
Yeah.
It's unique to them.
And the communication barrier is immense. Even if there is some awareness, how do we reliably assess it? You mentioned things like EEG, brain activity scans.
Right? EEG, the electroencephalogram, measures electrical activity. And yes, even in advanced stages, you might see residual brain activity that could suggest some sporadic awareness.
But suggest is the key word there.
It is. Because the ability to communicate that awareness, to express it outwardly, is often so severely compromised. That's the heartbreaking challenge. What's clearly happening is this erosion of autobiographical memory.
Your personal story.
Your life's narrative, yeah. It's like the pages are fading or getting torn out.
Yeah.
And self-awareness diminishes too. This fundamentally changes the content of consciousness. So while maybe basic sensory input, hearing a sound, feeling touch might still get through, that rich, integrated sense of self, built on memories and experiences, that becomes fragmented, often inaccessible.
Okay.
So if we try to wrap this up, bring it all together, the core idea from this deep dive, from the research, is that consciousness in dementia isn't really lost all at once. It's not absent like a light switch flipped off.
It's not sleeping.
No. The better word seemed to be that it fades progressively. It's profoundly altered. It's a different state of being, not just an off state.
And understanding that distinction feels so important.
It is. It changes how we might perceive the person, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Not as someone who's gone or asleep, but as someone experiencing reality in a radically different, altered way. A way that still deserves our attention, our connection, our respect.
Absolutely. It has such profound implications for, well, how we see the human experience itself and how we connect with each other, especially in difficult circumstances. And the research is ongoing, right? Looking into residual consciousness, what it means for care, for ethics.
Definitely. There's still so much to learn.
So let's bring it back to you, listening. What does this all mean for us? If consciousness in dementia is more about transformation than disappearance, how does that challenge your understanding of what it means to be conscious? And maybe more practically, how can we find ways to forge meaningful interactions, real connections, even when the usual ways of communicating, like talking, are fading? It's something to reflect on, I think, this ongoing mystery of what that inner experience is truly like for someone with dementia, and maybe holding on to that hope that future research might find ways to perhaps light the sparkle again, offering new paths for understanding and connection.